Is my screen visible, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay, fine. So I think like most of you are from electrical and electronics background over here, right? So typically today we are going to check about like what all opportunities are there in the field of electric vehicles, because you might be reading news day in and day out, like new models of electric vehicles are coming up, and as a student in either third year, second year, or final year, or even you may be working professionals and you want to start your careers in this field of electric vehicles. So what are the opportunities, where are the opportunities, what skills are required to enter this field? So all this we are going to check up in this 30-minute short duration. Fine. So first of all, if I give you my introduction, so basically I am working in Vadodara in this company named Spark Innovations. I recently founded this company, and we are into the R&D of battery management system, motor controllers, and electric vehicle chargers. And we develop specifically for electric vehicles, and even we manufacture all these three main products at our end. So I started, or basically, if I see, I'm working in this electric vehicle field for around 7 years now, right? And I worked in various MNC and even the startups of electric vehicle domains. And my core expertise, if I say that, I have been like working substantially deeper into the battery management system designs and its development, mainly into the hardware electronics design, firmware design of the battery management system, algorithm development for the BMS I've been working on. And apart from this, I majorly work on the power electronics designs and the DC to DC converters, inverter designs, all that I work on. Fine. So this is a brief introduction of myself. You might have got this introduction from Prashant, but I just brief I would like to address you. So moving ahead, so let's check out like when you are studying currently, right? And you might have to do some projects, or in future you will be looking for jobs and all. So for that, you might be wondering like what all components are there and which components you should be start developing or you should do project on, right? So if we divide an electric vehicle, then major on the top thing, if we check out like which all components are available, are present inside an electric vehicle, then these are few of the components, like the battery pack, which we can say the energy storage of the vehicle, then the battery management system. This battery management system is responsible for protection of the batteries, then increasing the life of the batteries. If I just give you an example why this BMS or battery management system is important, because for a lithium ion battery pack which are used in the electric vehicles nowadays, you can't use them until and unless you have a proper BMS with it. If you are not using a proper BMS, then the life of the battery will substantially be degraded. So it is very much necessary that you have a very proper, a very good quality of battery management system. Then only your cost of the battery, because you might be knowing that 40% of the cost of the vehicle is just the cost of the battery. That is known, right? And just imagine if the battery gets degraded very fast, right? Then the overall operating cost of the vehicle will be very high, and in very short period of time, in a year or year and a half, there is a possibility that you might have to replace, or you have to replace the battery pack in the vehicle, right? So that's why this BMS is very important. The next thing is motors and its electronics. So motors normally used are BLDC motor, then permanent magnet synchronous motors, or induction motors, or even switch reluctance motors are also possible to use, right? Then uh, for these motors, now these motors are all synchronous motors, or we can say they are AC type of motors, like alternating current motors, and they work at a higher frequency, right? So as they work at a higher frequency, and you need to maintain a proper sequence of pulses to work these motors. For that, electronics is a must, and in this electronics we call it as a motor controllers. The electronics which is responsible to operate the motor, we call it as a motor controller. Inside this motor controller, there are various modules, like inverter module is there, then voltage sensing, current sensing module is there, then Hall effect, speed sensors are there, encoders may be there, right? Motors can also be sensorless motors. For those sensorless motors, you need to write a very good algorithm, a field oriented control algorithm to control these motors, right? For especially BLDC or PMSM type of motors, you need to do it, right? So what does these motors do? These motors are responsible for converting the electrical energy to the mechanical energy. So the electrical energy which is converted into the motion, that is the work of this motors. Normally in any of the vehicle, this is the basic, we can say, the reason why we need to keep a motor inside a vehicle for our motion. Fine. Then comes the chargers. Now these chargers, basically, if I say, when we discharge the batteries with the help of motors, because when we operate the motors, it requires charge, or it requires energy. That energy is normally taken from the batteries. So when the battery gets completely discharged, then again we need to charge those batteries, because all these lithium ion batteries are secondary type of batteries. They are not primary type of batteries. Secondary batteries mean that they are rechargeable batteries, right? So we need to again charge those batteries. Now, how to charge those batteries? For that, we need to have a special electronic or a power electronic device that we call it as a chargers, right? So this, because directly we know that why we need a charger. You can directly use a 220-volt AC to charge the batteries, but our batteries are not necessarily working on 220 volt, and our batteries are of DC type, direct current type, right? And batteries voltage can be either 36 volt or 48 volt, 72 volt, 96 volt, right? So first of all, what we need to do, we need to convert this AC 220 volt, which is available in our socket, to its required voltage, which is required actually by the batteries to get charged up. So there, these chargers are required. And specifically for lithium ion batteries, there are specific chargers. You need to apply a specific algorithm. Only then a proper charging will occur inside the battery. Then comes the vehicle control unit. Basically, this vehicle control unit, we can compare it as the brain of the vehicle, or we can say the spinal cord of the vehicle, because it connects each and every parts of the vehicle. Maybe like the vehicle control unit, it connects motor controller, charger, it even communicates with the battery management system, other peripheral devices like horns, lights, and all other things, right? So that's why we need to make sure that this vehicle control unit is uh, properly developed, right? So this is also like in two-wheeler applications and all that, majorly this vehicle control unit may or may not be there, but definitely for four-wheeler applications in electric vehicle and above, always this vehicle control unit is necessary for overall protections, then communications, monitoring, data logging. For all those purpose, this vehicle control unit is a must. Then comes the DC to DC converters. Now, DC-DC converters means that a voltage in its DC form is converted to another voltage in DC form. Why we require? Now, let's take an example. A battery would be, say, for example, 48 volt, right? And you might be knowing that there are microcontrollers used inside various components, maybe in BMS or motor controller unit or the chargers, right? Now, you may be knowing, you might have heard about Arduino or any other controller. Those controllers, they normally work at either 3.3 volt or 5 volt, right? It doesn't directly work at 48 volt. So there is a necessity that we convert our 48 volt into the 5 volt or a 3.3 volt. Normally our headlights, they work at 12 volt. So we need to convert from 48 to 12 volt. So this conversion from one voltage to another voltage, we call it as a DC to DC conversions. And these are called power electronic devices. And the last, if we see, then nowadays, if you see in each and every car, a lot of IoT and AI is used, artificial intelligence and Internet of Things are used, right? There are many features nowadays coming up. If you just check up various specifications of the new cars like MG Motors or Kia Motors or any, even in the Maruti, Hyundai, there are so many features coming up which are upgrading the life of the vehicles. So even these IoT and AIs are used inside the electric vehicle. So typically speaking, if I segregate each and every component of electric vehicle, then we can divide into all these components for the electric vehicle, right? Moving ahead, so we checked out like what all components are used inside the electric vehicle. Now let's have a direct question to you. Like you are engineers, you are the coming up, you will be in a year or two, you will be passing your colleges, right? And when you want to enter an industry, they would be requiring some basic skills for a specific work, right? For specifically for electric vehicles, I'm talking about, right? So, what industry is looking for from you as the coming engineers, right? What skills they are looking for. So, if you grasp those skills or if you start learning those skills right away, right, then it would be very much beneficial for you people when you enter the companies, right? So majorly from hardware perspective, if I tell you, then power electronics power electronics complies of chargers, inverters, DC to DC converter designs. All this come into the power electronics section. Power electronics basically MOSFETs, transistors, and all these things. All these designs come into the power electronics section. So this is one first requirement in the hardware design, right? Second thing is analog and digital circuit designing. Now this analog digital circuit designing basically is related with the microcontrollers, then signal data acquisition, right? Then comes the sensors, because there are n number of sensors used inside a vehicle. It would be a current sensor, a temperature sensor, a rain sensor, then voltage sensors, brake sensors, light sensors. There are so many sensors used. Now all those sensors you need to monitor. Based on that monitoring, you need to do certain actions based on certain signals, right? So that's why this analog and digital circuit design is also very much important. Third thing, motor design. As you are electrical engineers, it is like it is your job to design the motor, right? It, you can say that it is a job of mechanical engineers only, but the electromagnetism, then magnetics of the motor, all should be designed by you, right? So that is also a subject which you can master for the motor designing. Then comes the magnetic design. Now what does this magnetics design include? It includes basically uh, transformer designs, inductor designs, because if I say each and every component in an electronic, like in an electric vehicle, will be having these magnetic components. In chargers, there would be transformers, inductors. In motor controllers, there are inductors, transformers, right? Similarly, even for filtering purposes, these transformers and inductors are used. So this magnetic design is also very important currently, and very few engineers are having knowledge or having skills in these domains. So if you are learning this, if you are mastering it, then it will definitely be very much helpful to you. Then comes the PCB design. Maybe you might have started learning PCB design in your colleges, if like if you have in curriculum or for a certain projects, because PCB designing is versatile. It's not dedicated to electric vehicles. It can be used in any of the electronics applications. PCB designing is must. Then comes the thermal design and the structural design. Now, when you make all these power electronic circuits, power electronics designs, right? You have to make sure that your system is cool enough. It shouldn't get heated up, because your vehicle would be running in hot sun at an ambient temperature of around 45 degrees, right? So you have to make sure that your system is thermally stable, right? For that, you need to do certain simulations, designing, all you need to learn. So all this comes into the hardware skills, which you need to have it. So there are normally two type of skills, either hardware skills or there are software skills, or we can say soft skills, right? So in those software skills, what all things comes, let's check out. In the software, there are various tools which are used currently in the industry. Maybe for simulation purpose and model based programming, MATLAB is used. For CAD designs, basically for structural designs, 2D designs, 3D designs, AutoCAD, Creo, or SolidWorks are used, right? Then for analytical purposes means that if you want to do some thermal simulation or electromagnetic simulation or structural simulation or cooling simulation, or we can say any type of mechanical electrical simulations, if you want to execute before developing your prototypes or before developing your products, for that softwares are available like ANSYS, Altair, COMSOL. So these are very important softwares. Even we use in our battery management system design, we use ANSYS for uh, simulations, because for thermal simulations, this ANSYS software we are using, it is very much helpful, because just by simulation and by giving proper parameters, we are able to get that how much our product will get heated up if our ambient temperature is this much, if the load current is this much, and for various different parameters. If you want to check like how the effect will be coming up on our product, then for that this analytical softwares are very important. And I tell you that these softwares, if you are learning, then definitely you will be easily grabbed into any of the good companies, maybe in a startup or in the MNC, because everyone looks for this software to learn. Fine. Then comes the motor design softwares. So in that there are two, SolidWorks and eMetor is one of the good software for motor design. Then comes for PCB designing. For PCB designing, you can learn KiCad, then Altium, Eagle, and many other softwares are there. But majorly in industry, this KiCad is open source, so you can easily download and start learning. While I think Eagle is also free for students, so that also you can start learning. Altium probably is a licensed one, so I need to just check like whether for students it is it free or it is not available, right? Then for embedded programming, you need to learn either C language or C++ language. These two languages, if you are learning, that is enough. And on the top of it, if you are knowing 3D printing softwares, then it would be a add-on, right? So these are the software tools industry are looking for a good jobs and for good job opportunities. Fine. Now, if you are looking to start your career in the field of electric vehicle sector, apart from this, like what all things you can do is in a general manner, I am just explaining you. Start reading more and more books on electric vehicle. You can even check out online courses or hands-on learning and projects, internship, and you can later on start entrepreneurship. Do more and more hands-on projects or hands-on work you do, because see, today the scenario is in such a way, if I tell you the truth, then your batch or your the current batch you are studying, right? You may be in third year or final year or second year, right? So during this COVID times, almost like the last year you have been doing online courses, online learning you are doing, right? And probably I don't know like further how much time you will be learning online, right? So I would suggest or I would like convey to you that try to do more and more hardware projects and do some internships or do some live courses that will eventually add your skills, because as soon as you come out from your college, right, then and you go for interviews, the industries will ask like you are from this COVID type of batches, right? Then what type of hands-on like hands-on knowledge or hands-on experience you are having, so they will ask you, right? So if you are prepared by doing few of the projects and if you can showcase to them, then it will be very much impressive and it will be helpful to you, because only when you do some projects, if you learn something, then only your confidence will build up and you will get a good in-depth knowledge on it. Fine. So what you will be doing in this detailed course, that Prashant will be covering up, but overall if I give you an idea, then it would be like learning each and every electric vehicle component operation in detail. Then you will be learning deep into the lithium ion battery management system, electric vehicle electric vehicle chargers, like that nowadays even the charging stations are coming up, right? So what all these charging stations are, how do they work up, right? So all these also it will be you will be learning. Then learning on the motor controllers for the electric vehicles. Then even a case study for an open source BMS will be uh, totally explained to you, like how it works and with its designs and everything. So that would be an good like knowledge inbuilt, because you will be learning how this BMS works and what all the components used inside a BMS. And it's a open source, so you can uh, like have all the files with you, the schematics, the PCB, the all the documents you will be having. So you can have a deep understanding for the BMS, and you will be having overview of the softwares. You will be learning PCB designing and an overview on the battery design studio. And definitely after this course you will be helped, like we will be helping you out to build your resume and how you can crack the interviews in the electric vehicle field. So these are few of the topics I will explain. More details will be taken up by Prashant, right? So fine, like if you want you can directly contact me, or you can directly contact to Prashant, that is fine. And now I will if you have any questions now, you can shoot up. We'll be discussing, and I will try my level best to explain you in all details and make sure that I like try to explain you very well. So one by one, if you have any questions, you just like
Ritu sir,
you can.
Ritu sir, Prashant this side. Sir,
Yes.
before taking the questions from and queries from students, let us first give the detail about the course outline also. Okay, so I'm sharing the screen and just give
Sure.
him detail about that. Then after that, we'll start the queries and questions from the students. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, yes, sir. So I'm sharing the screen. Okay, sir. So, so students, are you seeing this screen?
Yes, sir.
So this screen is visible to you guys?
Yes, sir. Visible.
Okay, okay. Just a second. Okay. So yes, sir. So Ritul sir, please give them detail about the electric vehicle course, and I'm sharing this just a minute. So this is the course outline, and please give him detail about this course outline, and then we'll take the queries. Ritul sir?
Yes.
Yes, sir. I'm sharing the screen, sir, on which course outline is there.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So
Can you
please.
just open it?
Yes, sir. It is visible, not?
It is not.
Uh,
Sir, the PPT is not visible. Sir. PPT or
I'm seeing the PDF.
but PDF is not visible.
Just a second. Okay, sir. So, then I'm telling them, telling one by one, detecting that. So the course outline. First is EV components and architecture.
okay, sir.
Ritul sir.
Yes.
So I'm detecting the course outline so that you can tell them about this course outline detail. So first is EV components and architecture.
Right. So in this EV components and architecture, basically, these components, the chargers, motor controllers, BMS, batteries, DC-DC converters, and all the small components which are used inside the electric vehicle, that overall operation, how it works, how they are designed, and all those things will be covering up. Next.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Then next point is electric motor and its application.
Right. So here in this motors, basically how the motor works, then basically what type of motors are specifically used in electric vehicles. Then we'll be learning like how to select a motor for a specific application, right? Because normally there are various types of motors and we need to select like for our electric vehicle application which type of motors we can use it. So that all things will we need to will be covering up, right? And based on the motors, like there are various motors like BLDC, PMSM, induction, which motors are used for what application and why they are used over there, that will be covering up, right? Next is inverter design and its application. So this inverter basically is used in two major applications. One is in the chargers and another is in the motor controller section. So how this inverter works, what are the circuits behind these inverters, and what are the applications based on its ratings of voltages, currents, how we design it. So all that will be covering up in the inverter design. Then comes the battery technology, uh, which are used in EV and HEVs, right? So batteries, there are various types of batteries like lithium, iron, phosphate, then nickel, manganese, cobalt, then NCA. There are various chemistries of batteries used in the electric vehicles, right? Then we'll be checking up all those chemistries. Then which chemistry has what properties we'll be going to see, right? Then how to assemble those batteries into battery packs, what are the architectures of the batteries we'll be learning out, right? Apart from this, we'll be also learning on the battery management system, which is also part of battery technology, right? Later on, charging system technology. So how charger works, what are the algorithms based used inside those chargers, what are the modules and the components used inside the charging system. So all these things we are going to cover up slowly and gradually, because we want that we lesser we convey to you, but it should be very sharp, it should be very proper. Because if we give a huge content but if very scarcely if we take up, then it doesn't make sense. So that's why we have taken up very specific topics and we'll be delivering those specific topics in a very detailed manner, right? And the last one, like testings and certifications, like suppose you are building your own vehicle or own product, then what all tests you need to perform, what all certifications you need to take, what all compliances you need to follow, all those also information it will be provided to you. So this is the overall like course out, this we can say the technical side of course outline we are uh, seeing. And apart from this, we'll be helping you in the resume development and even how to crack the interviews. So all those guidelines, all those help also will be providing. And if you are doing any projects or if you want to do, we'll also be providing you small projects which you need to accomplish it. So that would eventually improve your hands-on working hands-on experience, and you would be learning a lot in that thing. Fine. So and even apart from this, we'll be taking up one-to-one sessions with you, right, where one-to-one interactions will be possible to each and every student, where you can ask your technical questions, any non-technical queries, or anything related to your current curriculum or what you learned in this course, and anything related to your careers or jobs. If you have any questions, then a one-to-one interaction will also be there with the industry experts. Fine. Fine. So this will be all about this course, and
Yes, sir. Ritul sir. So if I continue with this with the same pace which you are telling about the course outline, then we can move to the roadmap so that the student can understand how we are covering our course outline and the course of the electric vehicle with the roadmap. So just I'm sharing the screen of the roadmap, and then students will get more clarity of that. Already I have shared these details to the students, but let me give him brief about this, that how we are covering the electric vehicle course outline with our roadmap. So if you see the screen, is screen is visible to you everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So if you see these are the milestones, how we are covering our course outline in respect to this roadmap. So if you see the technical training, first milestone is the technical training, where students will get the technical knowledge and the training on the technicalities about the electric vehicle, which already sir has given you the details. After that software training, whatever the softwares you need to learn, whatever some skills you have to learn, those will training will come into this milestone. After that, will sir will giving you the some assignments, you have to work on it, some assignments you have to do. And after that, doubt clearing sessions. So doubt clearing session, you can put your doubts, you can clear all those doubts, and you can uh, get more and more detail about the electric vehicle, and make more and more clear picture about this course. And then live project training. So sir has already told you that we will given you some small projects on which you can do your assignments, and on which you can do some project work, so that more clarity you will get. After the live project training milestone, we want to give you a peer-to-peer interaction, because if you see this platform, there is multiple type of persons are there, like working professionals are also there, students are also there, and industries experts are also there. So students can do the peer-to-peer interaction, so that they can understand the what the current scenario is going on, what the industries and market demands are there in the in the surrounding. So we are creating the peer-to-peer interaction. In this, students will go to more and more detail, and how they can build their resume, how they can understand what are the skills they required more, what are the job opportunities coming on in the market, so that this peer-to-peer interaction will give them such kind of opportunities. After that, assessment based on various set parameters. So we'll do some assessments for course completion certificate. We'll do some assessments, and our some various set parameters levels were there, on which we'll do the assessment of the students and whoever join our course. After that, we have also put interview guidance program. This milestone is basically for every students who want to learn, who want to understand that what type of technicalities required to crack the interview. So our expert and the working professional during the peer-to-peer interaction also will guide you that how you can crack the interview, and how you can give the answer of those technical questions will put up during the interviews round. Okay, so these are the roadmaps due to how we will cover up the entire course module, so that it will become more and more interactive session to you guys, and you can go into more and more detailed interaction with the industry experts and with the working professional near around. Okay, so these are the roadmap milestone. So now I think students can start their queries and ask questions to both of us, so that we can clear their points. And after this, I will share you about the information about the bridge skill, and about the course price, and about the course duration. Okay. So now please put up your questions and the queries to the expert. Hello. Hello. Hello.
yes.
Ritul sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Students, please ask your doubts.
Anything, if you want to discuss anything, you have queries, you can just ask us. will be happy to answer you.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, sir. This electric vehicle course, it is what is the duration of this course?
Uh, so duration of this course is 25 hours. Okay, and it will completely online. And the detailed information I will share to you in this webinar. But if you ask this query, so 25-hour duration of this course, basically.
From when it can be started, sir?
Just from the next week, 24th. I will share you the details right now in this webinar. We'll
Okay,
share
sir.
you
Next week.
details.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
So next
Sir,
question.
I have a question. Hello.
Yes. Yes.
Sir, you said that we'll require some software tools for the industry, like model-based and CAD and PCB design. So, sir, will this course cover these software?
No, like in this course, basically, we'll be covering a basic of PCB designing and one more software on the battery design studio overview we'll be covering up. So that we'll be covering up in the software portion. But if you have been working on any of the specific softwares and if you have any doubts in it, then we will be definitely happy to solve it. And if you have any queries, we can have a discussion on it.
Sir, PCB
Right?
design, you cover the whole PCB design. What to design the PCB or what KiCad or LTM, what you said, you
Yes.
cover
So yeah,
that.
we will be covering the KiCad PCB designing in it. So from scratch, how to start the design from schematic development to PCB development and the Gerber files development. But it would be a yeah, learning for you.